watching Shalom TV, celebrating Jewish culture. Funding for Shalom TV has been provided by the following. And by viewers like you.
My name is Rachel Cohen, and I participated in the very first Birthright trip in 1999. Growing up singing in the church choir, I never would have imagined myself speaking here on the 10th anniversary of Birthright. And, if you can tell, I'm a little hoarse. When I sang in the choir, I was always told to sing out. I did not sing loud enough, and on Friday night, we had a Shabbat service with 150 alumni, and I've now lost my voice. I sing out so much. So, a little bit about me and how Birthright has touched my life. I'm a child of an interfaith marriage, as you now might have guessed, and the proud descendant of 7 generations of United Church of Christ ministers and missionaries. My family made people Christian. But, as all the studies have shown, children of interfaith marriages, their religious trajectory is driven by their mother, and I was the model of this. 10 years ago, if you'd have asked me if I was Jewish, my answer would have been, well, my father is. Today, my answer is completely different. I wish I could say that my decision to go on a Birthright Israel trip my junior year in college was motivated by a deep sense of longing for understanding or connection. It wasn't. I applied because I'd never had the chance to travel abroad, and I desperately wanted to see more of the world. In fact, I would have preferred a trip somewhere a little more safer, a little more metropolitan, a little less foreign to me. Seated alphabetically on the row on the plane with all the other Cohens, they were reading their travel guides and carrying letters to bring to relatives, and I slept. I had not even a glimmer of how exciting the coming 10 days would be, and how they would make an indelible impression on my life and transform my identity forever. Moments after our plane landed in Israel, we found ourselves wearily but excitedly dancing the hora in an airport hangar. And I began to notice tears in the eyes of other participants and in the eyes of the donors. In the center of the circle stood the founders of Birthright themselves, the same men here today. And the words they shared with us today, that day, are burned into my heart forever. Of all the things these larger-than-life, generous men could have said, they simply thanked us. Making that trip a reality had consumed their every minute and every breath for years upon years. And standing with us there in Israel arm in arm, they told us we were their dream realized. I suddenly began to realize the magnitude of the gift I was being given. And I became committed to making the way in which I lived the next 10 days my return gift to these visionary donors. I wanted to truly be their dream realized. By the end of the first day in Israel, I was overwhelmed by this feeling. It infused my approach to every activity, tour, and conversation I engaged in. I asked more than my fair share of questions, many of which I'm sure my other busmates already knew the answers to. When was Israel founded? What is falafel made of? Why do we light candles on Shabbat? Soon it became known as Rachel Cohen questions, and other people on the bus would say, I have a Rachel Cohen question. I did not take offense. Standing at the Knesset, I was intrigued by the politics of a nation that reflected such rich diversity. Touring Israel, I met Israeli soldiers I've since gone back to visit. And reciting my first Jewish prayer at the Kotel connected me forever to a tradition, a language, and a piece of myself I otherwise may never have gone looking for. I felt deeply connected to a land, a people, and a heritage after only a few short days. Living each day as a gift, I was learning what it meant to live Jewishly. The trip challenged me to examine every aspect of my life, from my religious and spiritual identity to my role as sister, daughter, friend, and citizen of the world. It also inspired me to shift my career focus and my major to international relations. Needless to say, my family and friends were quite surprised. And then there was the big question, what next? I still didn't think I was Jewish enough to attend shul. I didn't know how to keep Shabbat, and I wasn't sure I'd be accepted by all my Jewish camp-going bar mitzvah Hillel peers. So I began to call the Birthright office in New York with more Rachel Cohen questions. Where can I learn Hebrew? Does anyone have a recipe for kugel? What is the difference between Orthodox, Conservative, Reform, Chabad, Reconstructionist, and where do I fit? The staff were wonderfully helpful. They directed me to all sorts of different programs that I've participated in LA, in Israel, and gave me lots of recipes. Then in 2005, I was introduced to Avital Engberg. Avital was the Jewish Federation in Washington's Birthright alumni representative, and she took me under her wing. Together, we had a vision of a strong, vibrant community of Birthright alumni who could learn the ABCs of being Jewish together, from traditions to values to tikkun olam to advocating for Israel. 4 years later, I'm the proud alumni chair of Birthright Israel Next for the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington, serving nearly 10,000 alumni in this area. Our success is beyond the dreams Avital and I ever could have imagined. As I mentioned, on Friday night, our Shabbat Hoppin' program had more than 150 Birthright alumni in a peer-led explanatory service. These are people who would never have imagined themselves at a Shabbat service on a Friday night. Likewise, our reverse mifgash program to bring Israelis who were on our DC community buses back to DC to visit us again is in its second year, and we have Israelis from that program here today. I've been back to Israel 4 times, and I volunteer with the Jewish Outreach Institute to help interfaith families find ways to connect to their Judaism and to Israel. But the proudest moment of my newfound Jewish life was when my baby brother and sister each applied for Birthright Israel. Their experiences were unique and personal and eye-opening, and I flew to Israel to meet my sister at the end of her trip. And our all-night conversation that ensued brought us closer as sisters in a way I never could have expected. And my brother, who began studying Torah upon his return, brought me to tears when he told me he applied to Birthright as a gift to me. So today I'm part of a Jewish family, a dream that never would have been realized had it not been for the gift that is Birthright Israel. So thank you on behalf of 10 years of participants. Thank you to the government of Israel, the federations, to Birthright Israel and to its founders for finding me, a lost sheep, and for bringing me back to my people and to my home.
Over 220,000 participants have gone on Birthright trips, and over we hear how the experience has transformed their lives. More than 40,000 Israeli soldiers have joined these trips for what we call the mifgash, the encounter, and they have also been changed by this firsthand connection with their peers in the diaspora. Last month, a Brandeis University study was released that proves once again that the Birthright Israel program has a powerful, lasting impact. Participants are more likely to feel connected to Israel, feel confident as advocates for Israel, have a greater sense of connectedness to the Jewish people, and 57% of them say that they are more likely to marry Jews. They are exploring Jewish living and Jewish expression in all of its forms. The Jewish Federations of North America has proudly partnered with the government of Israel, the Jewish Agency for Israel, and private philanthropists and foundations to make this gift of a first-time trip to Israel possible. The Federation system has contributed over $100 million since Birthright's inception and has been an integral part of its success. But the number of participants and the effect of the trip tell only part of the story. This past summer, 3 applicants were waitlisted for every young person who went on Birthright. 10,000 will go this winter, and 13,000 are on the wait list. Birthright has the capacity, not the funding, to send 50,000 participants a year to Israel. That's 50% of all Jewish young adults in each age cohort. At that rate, a life-changing trip to Israel would become the norm for young Jews in North America and throughout the world. I just visited our daughter's college campus this week and spoke to a friend of hers about going on Birthright. He was interested, but was under the impression that the program will soon come to an end. I'm sure that many of you have heard similar rumors, and I'm here to tell you that they are false. As president of the Washington Federation, I know all too well the pressures that we are all facing in these difficult times. We are all trying to figure out how to do more with less, how to maintain our communities, how to continue to provide the essential services that are the hallmark and the responsibility of our system. But we cannot allow ourselves to be so consumed by present challenges as to bankrupt our future. We wring our hands with worry about the next generation, the increased apathy or indifference to Jewish life and to the land and people of Israel. The solution is right before our eyes: Birthright Israel. For an individual not to go on Birthright is, for him or her, a major disappointment. For those of us who care about Jewish continuity, it's a tragedy. We have the capacity to enable each young person who wants to go on Birthright the opportunity to do so. So as you leave this plenary and this GA, I ask each and every one of you, let's redouble our efforts to expand Birthright's reach. If you fund it, they will go. They will go to Israel, they will return transformed, and they will be our Jewish future. Thank you.